It's on top of the thing. Push it to the middle. Just a little switch. There we go. All right, welcome in, Laura. How you doing? We are live for now on both YouTube and TikTok. And I'm ready to hear your paranormal encounters. 5YA Power, welcome back in. Can everybody hear me? I adjusted my audio from my last live. Hopefully it's loud enough. Nobody's over on YouTube yet. That's okay. Yeah, see, one, I wasn't feeling good. And two, I'd made some adjustments and accidentally turned down my output on my microphone. So hopefully it sounds better tonight. It's hot in here. Whew. A little warm in these rhinos. How's everybody doing tonight? I'm going to get rid of that. Mrs. F has joined the live. Is that you over on YouTube as well? Okay. Waiting for some people to come in. I don't like this thing right here. I don't know if I like that little thing in front of my face. Maybe I need to move over. We'll see. Or I can just see if I can get rid of it. Let's see if we can get rid of it. There we go. Just get rid of it. Don't like it. Did you draw that picture? The one in the background there behind my head? That was done by Madman Chris Goins. He is one of the co-hosts of Nevermore Hollows. And he's an artist. Yeah. I have the actual print. But right now it's covered up by my enormous backdrop that I ordered by mistake. It was supposed to be much smaller. That's what she said. Yeah, I chose the wrong size. So hopefully this week, my new one's coming in. And I'm trying to decide how many lives I'm going to do this week. Because I know. Story of my life. But I'm trying to decide how many lives I want to do this week with the potential band coming in next weekend. I'd like to do as many of these as I can because I want to hear paranormal encounters. And I still need to build more on YouTube. So if you haven't followed me on YouTube, you can click on my profile on TikTok. And I just need to be recording this. I forgot to be recording this on my computer so I don't have to download it. Anyway, if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, you can click on my profile here on TikTok. And there's two links. Both of them take you to the same place. I just got tired of TikTok having its issues. And it kept changing my link. But if you go over there, click on that link, it'll take you to my YouTube channel. Click subscribe. Because if this band goes through, probably where all the lives are going to be done. Parker, how you doing tonight? Appreciate everybody coming in. If you have a paranormal encounter you'd like to share, leave a comment down below. My wife will throw something at me and tell me that you want to tell your story. and we'll get you in. Welcome in, everybody. I hope not. The and I think there's something going to happen. They'll keep it, but there may be a short outage or something. Natalie, welcome in. If I missed you when you came in, I apologize. Click down here. Ben, how you doing? If you have a paranormal encounter. Right. They're all making money off of TikTok. I mean, that's the thing. Even the people that voted to ban it, they're making money off of it. You know, they used it during their campaigns, everything else. So I don't know why they would want to get rid of it. It just makes no sense to me. But if you do have a paranormal encounter you'd like to share, leave a comment down below. We'll get you in the box. And just remember, we do not do politics in my live. And basically, we try to stay away from anything that can be turned political. Just because I don't want you guys fighting in my comments, you know? Right. Maybe everybody's houses will be clean if there's no TikTok. I'm thinking about doing Facebook Live. So if you haven't yet, you can go over to Facebook, find Myths, Monsters, and Mullets. Follow me there, and I will probably be trying that here shortly. But everybody I see on Facebook Live, it really isn't. Why does my hat look crooked? My hat looks crooked. It's like, maybe it's my head. Maybe my head's crooked. Does my hat look crooked? Or am I just tilting my head? I don't know.
I think it looks crooked.
I think it looks crooked. I think my hat is going crooked. And I'm trying to look in the camera and it's backwards. Whatever. Curse Dolls, welcome in. H Webb, welcome in. Nancy, how you doing? Curse Dolls, are you ready to come in and tell your stories? Trying. I move my head too much. It's not going to matter. It's not going to matter. It looks funky. Whatever. How you doing, Curse Dolls? Still waiting to hear your stories.
That's better.
Does it look better? Okay. I got the seal of approval from Becca that it looks better now. And that's all that matters. You people don't matter. The only person that matters is my wife. That's right. Shauna, how you doing? Diane, welcome in. If you have a paranormal encounter you'd like to share, leave a comment down below. We'll get you in the box. Mr. B, welcome in. Appreciate everybody coming in off my video. It's nice to see people are actually watching. For now, Vanessa come in and said, "Na mama na." Thank you for sharing out the live. If you can share, like, share it, like it, send it to people that you don't like, that may like paranormal. I'm okay with that too. As long as they like the paranormal, you guys don't have to get along. It doesn't matter to me. But how you doing today? Didn't really come in with a lot to talk about today. Copenhagen's not here yet. He's on his way home. So I've been sick. I don't know how many of you came in the other night. Copenhagen filled in for me. I felt like dog crap. Absolute dog crap all week. Keep needing to go to the bathroom and nausea, and I had some kind of bug. And I was looking forward to doing that live on Thursday. And every day as it got closer, I'm like, okay, I've got to start getting better. Yeah. We had a bunch of people at work that had it too. Walter, how you doing? Welcome back in, buddy. Walter's been in the box before. Curse dolls, hint, hint. Really like to see you come in before we get banned. You know what I mean? Welcome in on YouTube. Leave a chat down below so I can see who all's here. Appreciate you watching. Haven't had a guest yet, but that's okay. Sometimes it takes a little bit for people to warm up. Yeah, I've been sick all week and missed like 4 days of work, because there ain't no reason to go to work if I'm going to spend the entire time in the bathroom. And not only that, I had headache, nausea. I was kind of lightheaded for a while. It was horrible. And then we got a bunch of snow. I started feeling better on Friday, and then we got snow and couldn't get out of the house. Becca did not get it. Nope. Knock on wood. She got her fingers crossed. She sprayed me with Lysol every day, right in the face. Lysol and Clorox. I think she put it in my food too. Yeah. The thing is with my new microphone, even if I do get Becca to snort, you're not going to hear it now. Because it only works towards me. You might be able to hear it over on YouTube though, because this microphone picks up everything. Oh, really? My husband do so. Yeah. There's a lot of different schools of thought on the orb thing. I'm not a big fan of the orbs that you see on the paranormal shows, because a lot of times it's dust. It is. It's dust. It's bugs, things like that. Right. It's just dust particles. IR shows every freaking dust particle. And I'm not saying orbs don't exist. It's not what I'm saying at all. All I'm saying is not everything is an orb. If it's a glowing light when there's no reason for the light, that's an orb to me. And I've seen videos of that. I mean, just because they need content, I think is why a lot of these paranormal shows make a big deal about orbs, and then you got people that I love the paranormal. I do. And I understand, there's a lot of people that they want to see something paranormal. So when they set up these cameras and a bug flies by their Ring camera or something, they're hoping that it's paranormal. But 9 times out of 10, it's not. It's not. It can be explained. Especially when these guys go into like these abandoned buildings, there's dust. Just you walking into that room is going to stir up that dust, and it's going to show up on your cameras. That I don't care how clean your house is, you got dust. It's just the way it works. And bugs get in everywhere. They're in my underwear. Oh, you should have seen the look I just got from my wife. Holy cow. What do you think of the new layout on TikTok? Yeah, I really need to go again. I do. It's been almost 4 years now since we went on that ghost hunt. I just got the video and stuff from that ghost hunt off my old laptop. Took a while. My laptop is not getting updates the way it used to. And I was trying to transfer it over to a solid state drive, and it kept screwing up. But I'm pretty sure I got them all transferred now. So now I can start working on a video for the YouTube channel of my paranormal encounters. Yeah. I know. We should go out to Iowa. Go to the Axe Murder House. Laura says she's paying. Yep. And everybody's invited. We're staying at her house. I'm going to eat all the fruit snacks. Yep. That's what I do. If I come to your house, I'm eating all your fruit snacks. Yep. That's how you know when a cougar hunter's been in your house. First thing goes fruit snacks and Oreo cookies. Welcome in, Brack. If you have a paranormal encounter you'd like to share, leave a comment down below. I want to hear it. I want to get you in the box, bring you in as a guest. I want to hear your encounters. Thank you for watching over on YouTube. Can you hear me okay over there? Just want to make sure I have everything set up right. See, I got 2 people watching. Nobody's commenting though. Big Ryan, how you doing? Welcome in. Yes, the Midwest hospitality is right up there with the Southern hospitality. It really is. Big Ryan, you got a paranormal encounter you'd like to share? Got 4 people watching. 4 people watching on TikTok. 2 on YouTube. Not sure who's over on YouTube. They won't say hi. It's okay. I know you just want to look at me. I get it. Sometimes that's all I do too. I just look at myself. So Laura, Big Ryan, thank you for the follow there, buddy. Appreciate it. Anybody who follows me during the lives, afterwards, I go through and follow everybody back. Nate, how you doing? Wes Henry, how you doing? If you got a paranormal encounter you'd like to share, leave a comment down below. Bring you in as a guest. I want to hear it. I don't care if it's ghost. I don't care if it's Bigfoot. I don't care if it's UFOs, Loch Ness Monster, Dog Man. I want to hear it all. You know, maybe you got a pet dog man. That would be great. Crotch goblins. I mean, if they're haunted crotch goblins, I guess. we did have a haunted toilet the one time. We have an actual corgi in the chat. Monica the corgi. That's impressive. I didn't know corgis had opposable thumbs like that. Raleigh, how you doing? Shelly, welcome in. Still looking for our first paranormal encounter tonight. It's like a fishing expedition. Maybe I'm not using the right bait. Maybe I need to show cleavage or something. Would that make you guys, if I promised to keep my shirt on, would that make somebody jump in the box and tell their paranormal encounters? I'm just trying here. I'm trying. See, Walter's like, I'll make up something. I don't care. Keep your shirt on. We like to have fun in here. We do. If you haven't yet, go over to the YouTube channel and check out the Off the Rails episode with Copenhagen and I. Yeah, that we spent. I think that thing was like, I don't know, an hour and 40 minutes long, and I bet we talked paranormal for about 35 minutes of that. Hello there. How you doing? Hello there. Hello there. One of many. How you doing? One of many humans. Thank you for the follow. Again, I do follow everybody who comments, who follows me, as long as the comments are respectful. Laura, she's on the edge of being unfollowed. Not really. Um, but yeah, again, we don't do politics. We don't do social issues. The only thing we do is paranormal. My phone's yelling at me right now because I didn't log my dinner for tonight. I don't know if you guys have noticed over the past, how many months has it been now? So we got October, November, December, 3.5 months. We've been on a weight loss journey, and I'm down 45 pounds. Becca is down 25 pounds, but I had a lot more to lose than she did. So thank you. The purple heart is for Becca. Yeah, we've been, all we're doing is counting our calories. We've got an app on our phone. It records everything that we eat and tells us what we're missing. And yeah, staying under 1,600 calories a day. I don't feel hungry. Yeah, really haven't done anything else. You know, it's not like we're starving ourselves. In fact, Becca's eating right now.
Mhm.
You know, we just watch what we can eat anything we want, but if it's way high in calories, it screws us for the day. RC. Oh yeah. Yeah, we can send it to you, Laura. RC, welcome in. If you have a paranormal encounter you'd like to share, leave a comment down below. I'll bring you in as a guest and we can talk about it. Thank you for the follow. Like I said, I will follow everybody back after the live. Jen, welcome in. David, how you doing tonight? Still not sure who all is watching on YouTube. It's kind of quiet over there. Kind of quiet. I wish I had cricket sounds to play over there, because I would do it. Becca comes in and says hi on YouTube. Thank you, Becca. Just realized your name on YouTube. Yeah. That's all right. Those comments will be all right. Be all right. There's only one other person watching. It's probably somebody I know. Another Boozy, how you doing? Welcome in. If you have a paranormal encounter you'd like to share, leave a comment down below. We'll get you in the box. You can be the first tonight. How's the audio sound? I know you said it was the right volume, but does this sound good? That's all that matters to me. Chris, how you doing tonight? Waiting to see if good. That's what I like to hear, because I spent money on this thing and it better sound good. Walter is the one over there watching. Walter's watching on YouTube and on TikTok. He's getting a double dose. How you doing, Walter? Thanks for watching and following over there. It's a little warm in here. Becca might pass out over here. I'm not sure. If you hear something hit the floor, it might be Becca. I do appreciate you watching over there on YouTube. I appreciate everybody here on TikTok. Archelli, how you doing tonight? Been watching for a while. Do you have a paranormal encounter you'd like to share? Jackson's in here. Welcome in, Jackson. I was talking to you earlier. I think I want to retell your story. I'm not sure if I'm going to retell your story or if I'm going to disguise your voice, because I can do that too. I just don't want to get in trouble on YouTube. Can't afford that, you know. And getting papers signed and everything like that. That would be a huge deal. Old Abe, welcome in. Nicole, welcome in. Appreciate you joining tonight. The Avery Lake Gang, welcome in, welcome in. Still waiting for our first paranormal encounter. If you have one and would like to tell everybody, leave a comment down below. We'll get you in the box. And you can tell the world. The way this works is if you're on YouTube, or I'm sorry, if you're on TikTok, and you come in and tell your story, I'm recording this right now, and I will edit it and put it up on YouTube eventually. I have a lot already in the box right now. This recording may not even come out until at least March. Yeah. But it will come out. Rob, how you doing? Old Abe, how you doing tonight, buddy? Haven't even said hi to me. Dang on. Old Abe, what are you going to do if the TikTok ban goes through? Thank you for sharing out the live, Laura. I appreciate it. Jeanette, how you doing? Kirstalls is back. Beth, how you doing? Stop in and say hi. If you have a paranormal topic you'd like to talk about, you can leave it in the comments. A lot of times, shouldn't say a lot of times, every time I come in here and it's all just, you know, I'm doing it by the seat of my pants. Play more days. Okay. Yeah. I'm seeing all kinds of weird videos. Did everybody see the video of the guy recording the fog? And nice. Doris, welcome in. There was this video that I saw earlier. Who sent that to me? I forget who sent it to me. But this guy was recording the fog. He was just recording out over the ocean. There was this fog. And all of a sudden, there was this like arc of lights that appeared and then disappeared. And then they reappear and disappear. It's weird out there. It's weird. You know, I don't know what to make of the fog. The drones, we've about beat that to death, but people are still reporting those, and we don't know what they are. We don't know what they are. The incoming administration says they're going to tell us what they are, but we'll see. Doris, how you doing tonight? Somebody got a TikTok universe, and it wasn't me. Well, Doris, do you have any paranormal encounters that happened at the state prison? Because if you do, I want to hear. We all want to hear. That's what we're all here for. Thanks, Tommy. Don't leave your wife over me, though. Well, Doris, do you want to come in and tell your story? We can do that. I know. You'll probably have to fight your wife for me. All right. Doris is coming in.
Good evening.
How are you tonight?
On top of the world, looking down at the peasants, and you?
Well, I've got a mullet, so I'm doing great.
I sort of got one, I guess. No, it's Fair Fawcett. Let's go Fair Fawcett.
Hey, that's all right too. So
No,
you worked at the state pen.
yeah, if you look up, it's under MissouriPenTours.com, and you can go up there. They closed it down. This prison was open in the 1800s, and so when it was first open, it was a men's and women's prison. Um, so it's been open for quite some time. You'll hear like on some of the old westerns and stuff that they're going to Missouri to drop off their prisoners because we were the closest prison to anything on the other, anything towards California. We were the closest prison. So this one had and everything. It had um, the hospital and everything, which was taken down when they closed it down because it was not ADA compliant in like 2004, I believe. So they started doing tours. They do a history tour during the day, and then they do ghost tours at night. We've had different people come in. Like been all kinds of shows. If you look at ghost hunters and stuff like that, they have filmed there. We have a gas chamber that you can actually sit in the seat that a lot of people have been gassed in. Tiny Mercer, if you've ever heard of him, was put to death there. So
I don't think that I would want to sit in that chair. I think that would be just too. I'm not that I'm like afraid of the ghosts that are there, but I just think that would be kind of morbid. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
It's pretty crazy, but everybody usually has their picture taken in it, and like you're about to get zapped or something. But usually the most activity is down around that particular little building, which is kind of way off from the rest of the prison. But it was a good sized prison. I mean, there was ball fields in there. As a kid, the guys that play baseball growing up, like, little league teams and stuff, would go in and play for the prisoners. They also would have other weird. Now, this is really weird. They had little girls come in and dance. Now, some of these are pedophiles, but they would come in and dance for them. So it was kind of strange stuff that went on there. But the stuff that was really spooky, they have a couple different things in there that I don't know what it is. One is this black. I mean, it's absolutely black, whatever it is. And on one occasion, I worked the gift shop and I also worked the ticket booth. So I was walking out of the gift shop this one night and I was trying to fix the computer, had my boss on the phone and walking down the steps. So this one was the building I was in was nothing but a housing unit. And I was going down the steps and everything turned black and it was daylight outside. And I'm like, what the, and as quick as it came, it went. And then I saw this black thing just like race down the steps. And I'm like, holy shit,
So
I'm on the phone with my mom and she's going, what's wrong?
so it enveloped you?
It just went right around me. It wasn't fog, but kind of like with fog, if you would think about it going around you. I mean, it was, I can't even say, it was totally black. And at first I thought I was blacking out, or something, like I hadn't eaten or something. It was hot that day, and then my boss goes, what, are you okay? And I said, well, the damnedest thing just happened. And she goes, oh, I forget what she called him, but she said, yeah, he does that every once in a while. It's like, oh, lovely. Okay, what have you got? This is my best friend from high school that got me this job and is my boss. And I'm like, what have you got me into here? This is one of my first couple of days there.
So did this your boss, did they see this thing go around you, or they just knew about this thing?
They already knew about it. This happens frequently in there. There's also an animal that's in the prison that shows up, a ghost animal, a dog, that in that same building in the basement thing, that it will bark at you. They actually have pictures of it. and it shows up in ghost form, and you can actually see this dog, and you actually hear it barking. It's the
Really?
crazy. Yes. I have not seen that one, but I did see, I was coming out of the gift shop, which a gift shop, you walk through these like little bars, because what it used to be was like kind of like a Sally Port type thing. And you know what I mean by Sally Port?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, you been there to jail? No.
No, but I know what you're talking about. Shh, don't tell anybody.
So
I'm in a witness protection program.
this was supposed to be like a counseling area. So what they would do is they'd have the office with the person, the counselor in it, and then in order to switch people, they would close her in, and then there was the Sally Port type thing, and it was nothing but just a jail cell, basically just of metal. And it was probably about, oh, I don't know, about 1 inch square, um metal all the way around this thing, with a door. The door was open, they let him out or lock her in and lock him in, and then let the person out. So I was walking through that area to get back into, well, I was coming out of the area because I was trying to see where the tour was. And the first step out of that office, something hit me on the head. Okay, it's an old prison, things fall from the ceiling, so I'm not thinking much of it. And then I take another step and it's hitting me in the head again. And it's like, what's the odds of this? The third step, by that time, I'm like getting creeped out. So I thought, okay, somebody's screwing with me, that's on the tour. And I look up in the balcony, which we did not have access to that side of the building. They had it just totally shut down because there was too many things that people could get hurt on. And I look up and I see this little, I don't know, I'm going to call it a gremlin looking thing. And it was just jumping around like a little monkey or something. And I'm like, okay, I'm out. I ran out the front door. Like, see you later. Bye.
So,
I waited for the tour to come in, and I was visually disturbed at this point. And I'm ready to kill my friend at this point.
so it looked like a monkey, or it
there's
just
so
reminded.
much. I mean, when I was working the
Oh, never
ticket
mind.
booth one night, and by this time I've settled in. It's been a couple of years of being in the prison, kind of used to the weird stuff that goes on. And I'm sitting there and I'm counting the money, and I just happened to be counting out loud that night. I was going 10, 20, and somebody goes 30. Well, I'm in this glass bubble. It was the control booth for the main, like the very front of the prison, and you have all the control buttons of closing the gates and everything. And there's nobody around because I didn't let anybody in. I'm sealed in there. Nobody can get to me because I have all the money for the tours. But somebody's in there going, they're counting with me. I'm like, you go away, I can count myself. So, but there's all kinds of crazy stuff. People coming on these tours, and even ghost hunters, and I can't think of the other show's name that these guys were on that came down. And when they came back from the gas chamber, they were freaked out bad. I don't know what they saw, what they heard, but
Was it Destination Fear?
uh I'm not sure. I mean, I have pictures on my phone of the guys, but I don't know how I
Was
would.
it two guys and a girl?
No, these are all guys,
Okay.
and this would have been about 7 years ago, I think.
Hmm.
I can't remember. It was one of them, one of the ghosty, not ghost hunters, but another one of the big time ghost thing, because I met most of the people on Ghost Hunters and all the other shows. Ghost Adventures. There you go.
Okay.
That's them. Yep. That's them. Yep, Zach. She's right. Nicole's got it. But yeah, if you go back and look at their thing, they came up and they were so disturbed by whatever they saw down there that they left for the night. They wouldn't even stay the rest of the night.
Really?
Because I was supposed to be there from like midnight till like 6 o'clock in the morning with them while they were filming. But they came back so freaked out, they wanted out of that prison. And they were at Flintstone feet to get out of there.
Wow.
But yeah, there's all kinds of crazy stuff that goes on in that prison. And I don't think they put all the stuff up on, which I think they should, like post some of the pictures and stuff on their websites and stuff from everybody, because you see stuff and some person just doing the tour can take a picture and you can see stuff in the pictures, but they don't post them other than to their personal pages instead of letting everybody see what they found,
Right.
which would be cool.
So
So
I had my microphone muted because I didn't want the feedback or anything, but I was trying to ask that monkey thing that you saw. Did it look
that
like a
was
monkey or did it just remind you of a monkey?
it reminded me of a monkey the way that it moved, and it was, but head wise, kind of a gremlin looking type-ish head. And it's like, I don't know what you are. I've gone hunting and everything else. I'm here in Missouri, grew up in Missouri. I've seen a lot of animals in my life, but I
Right.
ain't seen nothing like that. That was the first and the last.
You have
So,
the Ozark Howler out there.
oh yeah, we got all kinds of crazy stuff here. I don't know. Everybody says they got a Bigfoot in each state, so I don't know where Bigfoot is,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
apparently,
they're seen in every state in the union except for Hawaii.
well, we should take them one. Let's put one on the boat. Why should they not have one? Yes, I'm a hot mess.
I love it. I love it. All I could picture was like King Kong, you got him chained up and you take him down there for the people of Hawaii to see, and all of a sudden he
Float 'em
breaks
on a boat.
loose and he's taking down planes and stuff.
Float him on a boat. Let him see if he likes spam.
Spam and pineapples. And Tommy says Bigfoot on the beach. Heck yeah. Well, I
I
tell
think it'd be great.
I like you. You've been a fun guest. I can tell you that.
Well, thank you. I'm a little bit of a mess, and that's why the tours were fun. I mean, I used to pull people out when I was done getting them in and everything. My favorite thing to do after doing all their tickets and everything was to punch the button, and you would not believe how many people got scared to death when those bars close. Because I mean, it's the real bars of the prison that close behind you going in. Couple people had major anxiety attacks and was freaking out in the lobby and stuff. So I go out and mess with them. I said, "You're not getting out." And I put one guy, I think I gave him some trauma because he was sweating bullets, man. But yeah, it's a fun little tour. If y'all are in Missouri, it's in Jefferson City, Missouri. And it's a very old prison. And like I said, or I started to say, it was a men's and women's prison. So when they took the face off it, I mean, I grew up here in Jeff City and I had no clue on this. And when they took the face of it off and took the hospital away, oh, that's the one I got to tell you about that one too. They just leveled that and kept the main old prison, and at the top of it's a very ornate clock with the governor. His eyes face what was the Capitol, but the Capitol burnt down. So his eyes would have been in view of the Capitol looking at it. And then over the top, there was two wagon doors that opened. One says women and the other says men. So it housed even women. There was a little boy, a lady had a baby in there. So it had already done 5 years of time when they left because it was born in there. It stayed in there. He was 5 years old when he left.
Holy cow. How long ago was that?
Well, that was in the 1800s that they used to sentence the women with their babies or their kids. The kids would come in and live with them because and that was the weird thing about this prison is since it was the capital city, the men went out and they had like a crew that actually did all of the gardening and everything because that's how they were fed back then. And then the women would go out and be hired by like senators and representatives to clean their house and cook for them. And then they would bring them back in the wagons back to the prison where they would also cook their dinners and all the prisoners' dinners too. So
Wow.
they did walking and everything else. Yeah. But it's also known for this was the first prison that put their people to work and was selling things. And that's how they got in trouble, where now prisoners get so much money for working. They were the biggest saddle producers in the actually in the world. And people would order saddles from there and ship them all over the world. And they were,
Really?
yeah, they were pumping them out. And then it got to be a bad thing in the 50s and 60s about making prisoners work. you know, and so they had to start paying them because they were the only prison that made a profit. So all the other prisons were looking at them and asking, why are they making a profit? But going back to that hospital that was knocked down, where they knocked that down at, they decided to use that land as a federal court building. So they put this federal court building up, and one of the guys, when I would in between tours, I'd go out front and sit down on the front of the steps and smoke a cigarette, and hang out, waiting for them to come back, you know. And one of the guys from across the street came over and he goes, "Hey, you work here?" And I said, "No, well, I guess if you called it that, but whatever," started messing with him. And he goes, "Well, I work over here at the federal building." And he goes, "What was over here?" And I said, "Why?" And he goes, "We got this thing going down the hall, and he said, I can't explain it. It's almost like a cloud or something, but it's a dark cloud. We can see it on the cameras, and it goes whizzing by all of these rooms. And what it does when it goes by these rooms, it turns off the lights. And then if it comes back, it will turn every light on in the place." And I said, "Oh, that's yours. You keep it over there." And I said, "I don't want nothing to do with that." He goes, "What the heck is it?" And I said, "Can you send me the video of it?" And this thing, it pounded on the glass and pounded on the glass. And then the one night, that glass fell out. They put in so far that I know of 12 pieces of glass in that one window. This thing, and they can see it on video. They can see it knocking it out. But it's
I want to see this video.
I don't have the video anymore. Unfortunately, my phone crapped and I lost that video. I don't know if he's working there anymore, but I can try and find him and try and get that video.
Absolutely.
They have had all kinds of problems with this thing, and it scares a lot of the judges and especially the court reporters and stuff because they're there like later on usually or earlier than the judges and stuff. And this thing messes with that. It's one particular floor, and it's the very same window. So I said, "Hey, who's putting your window in?" And he said, "Well, it's Mark's Mobile Glass. It's the local company here, or was." And happened to know the guy. So the next time I was near there and saw him, I said, "Hey, I want to ask you something about windows." And he goes, "What do you want to know?" And I said, "Well, specifically, I want to know about this window up there." And he goes, "Oh, I don't want to even talk about that window." And I said, "Well, I do." you know? And I said, "Is this something? I mean, is there something that would cause this? I mean, is it warped? Because these windows are sealed windows. They're just plain glass, and they do have the shatterproof, kind of like what a windshield would have, because it is on an upper floor, but they're huge panes of glass. They're probably, I mean, looking from the ground, I would say that they're like at least 8 foot by 8 foot square windows and just sealed on there. I said, "Is it something with the frame?" He goes, "We've replaced the frames on this thing." He goes, "We have done everything." He said, "Some of them have been shattered so hard, it was like something." And he said, "And it's coming from the inside." He said, "It's like something heavier than even a shot put going up against that window to do the damage that it's done." But yet we can look at all of the videos because the courthouse, of course, is videoed every inch of it, right? And he said, and all we see is that damn thing going up to that window. And once it's at that window, you see it disappear, but then the window goes poof.
Wow.
And this is nuts.
Yeah,
You know?
those windows, they're tempered.
Yeah.
That's what they call it, tempered glass. And like you can punch that stuff in the middle and it won't break. Like the only way you can really break those is by doing something extreme, or you have to tap it on the edges. But
Yeah, and this one, since it's high up off the ground, I guess it has to be so much thickness because it's on the third floor.
yeah,
And this is like really super thick glass. And it's like, I don't even think if you got the tough guy contest in town with a sledgehammer, you could beat this glass out of there like that.
yeah, it would be tough. I mean, they're made for that. They're made to keep people from running into them and jumping out the windows. That's exact. I mean, that's what they're made for.
Yeah. And I wouldn't even, and it might even be bulletproof glass too, since it's a judicial building. I don't know. It's a federal judicial building. So I don't know if maybe they put bulletproof glass, but it ain't ghost proof. I don't know if they really need to find a thing for that. But as far as I know, they were still replacing those things. It constantly blows out. But where that set was right where the section of the hospital where they put the crazy people. Yeah, so I don't know if this is really a super crazy person or what, but um there's some that's weird. And we've seen stuff like down in that area, like in the evenings and stuff. If you sit out front while the tours were going, we would see things go by. And, I kind of thought it was, we also have some homeless in that area, but that's like a bluff right there because you're right at the Missouri River because they had the trains coming in to pick up stuff, that they sold and everything. And the trains would back into kind of another little train, Sally Port, to load up and go out with all the stuff that they made and the stuff that the supplies coming in. But right at the end of that, where that hospital was, it was sitting right on the bluff. So if you jumped out of one of the hospital windows, you're probably going to end up on the train tracks.
Yeah.
So, and right there, we would see these figures, but we also know that there was homeless in there, so we couldn't really confirm what we saw. But we'd hear, you'd hear things in there. You'd hear people screaming every once in a while. The best time to go is when it's raining and storming like crazy. You will hear all kinds of stuff. People yelling down. There was one person that I was going, sir, you need to come back here. And I was with one of the other girls that had worked there for a while. I said, "Sir, you're going down the wrong way. You need to come back." And this guy was just not even looking back, not even acknowledging me or nothing. And he had like a white coat on and everything. And she grabbed my arm and started laughing. She goes, "That's our little ghost here. He used to work for the doctor and he goes up and down." And I said, "It is not." And by the time I turned back, that guy was nowhere even there and there was nowhere for him to go.
So you couldn't see through this. It looked like a solid form.
Yeah, he looked like a real person. I thought this dude was like, he had a clipboard in his hand and had this white coat on with some pants and everything. Couldn't see. I mean, he had already walked past me, so I didn't see what he was wearing underneath there. But it was like a white coat, like you used to see doctors wear all the time,
Yeah.
and had a clipboard in his hand and was writing and looking down at the clipboard.
Wow.
And they said they've seen it many times. So, yeah, some crazy stuff went on. I was like, that wasn't real. And I said, I need a psychiatrist soon. I mean, some of this stuff's crazy. But I mean, like I said, if you get a chance to go in there, take one of the ghost tours and take the longer tours or the overnight, um, definitely worth it. They usually do the tours like March to about November because there's no heat and there's no air conditioning in there. So, but at the beginning of the season, after it's been cold, it stays cold for a long time. So, if you want to do an overnight and it's summer, your best bet is to go in May and June because you won't burn up. Because once that all because it's made of limestone, once that limestone flips over, it is so hot in there.
Yeah.
And I mean, and they didn't have air conditioners when they were still living there up till 2004.
Wow.
The heat was barely so, but they've turned the heat off. And originally, the state still owned it, but the city has now bought it with the tour money that they've made, and they're still not going to turn on the heat because it'd be way too expensive. Even just the electricity bill running the lights is over $5,000 a month.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you try heating or cooling that, and it's
Yeah,
probably
because you've got
6 times that.
we had one more housing building, but it had to be knocked down because we had a tornado go through about 3 or 4 years ago, and it just damaged it so bad structurally that it had to go. These things were built so long ago that a lot of them are gone, and some of the shops that they worked in is gone. So there's really just two housing units left, and the main building, which also had some housing in it too. So there's just three buildings, but out of those three buildings, they'll scare the bejesus out of you on most nights.
Well, yeah, I definitely want to go though. And maybe when
Yeah.
we go out and see Laura in Iowa, we can just swing through Missouri. And
Where's she at in Iowa?
not far from the Valeska Axe Murder House.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
She's near Omaha.
city.
Omaha.
Near
Omaha.
That's Omaha's, Nebraska.
Yeah, but she's in Iowa. She's just
Omaha, Iowa?
no. I think
Oh. The if she's in Iowa, to the Iowa border here, and depending on where she's at,
she says
you're
she's
looking
across the river from Omaha.
across the river from Omaha.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're probably looking at from Omaha, you're probably looking at about a 4 or 5 hour drive.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
It's not horrible.
Or
I'm coming from
fun
Indiana,
thing-
so it's going to be a long drive no matter what.
oh, well then you pretty much just cut almost through here.
Right.
If are you going out I-70?
Oh, we just decided on this trip tonight, so we don't know what we're doing.
Where do you live in Indiana?
North, west or east central Indiana.
I lived in Mishawaka.
Mishawaka. That sounds familiar. I'm not sure where it's at. I've only lived in Indiana for like 4 years.
Mishawaka is right by South Bend. It's like a sister city.
Okay.
So right there at Notre Dame.
Okay.
So we were stationed up there. My ex was Navy, and there was a Navy Reserve Center there. But if you're central Indiana, you're probably going to come out 70 to get to her.
Oh yeah.
Not unless you go there. But if you're on 70, when you hit Kingdom City, you're only about 30 minutes from the tours and stuff. But I definitely would go up to that MissouriPinTours.com and book your tickets on when you want to go, because sometimes they get too packed. There's also not a lot of overnight stuff, and the overnight stuff is a lot more fun. You'll see and hear a lot more stuff if you do the overnights.
I would
than
definitely
if
want to
you
do an overnight.
Yeah, so I would go up there and look at the overnights and what they have available, because that's the good stuff. So, but I need to jump off here. I saw where my son kind of did my snow off my driveway and kind of ripped his little muscle in his arm, and I had to take him to the emergency room, and he just called.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
avoiding.
Yeah, you need to get off here and take care of that. Absolutely.
Yeah, I took him over there and I picked him up, but I need to see what he's wanting. But it's been fun. Let me know if you come out this way. I'm going to go ahead and hit follow on you.
I appreciate it. I will follow you back after the live. And thank you for coming in tonight.
All right. Y'all have a good evening.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
I like hauntings like that, like the shadow people, the crazy monkey thing. That was new. Am I buffering over there? No. There it is. My screen was black for a second. April, are you wanting to come in? Still here, April? There you are. There we go.
Hello.
Hello. How are you tonight?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I am wonderful. Your second time in the live?
Yes, I'm glad I caught you guys right now. I was just scrolling through different feeds, different live streams on TikTok, and then just kind of got tired of listening to one. So,
and you had to come in and see the mullet. I understand.
yeah, actually, I was trying to catch that last bit of that story there, but there was too much noise going on indoors, so I'm outdoors where it's more quiet now.
Oh. So what do you have? I know you said you had some new stuff happen.
I'm trying to recall. So the first story that I told you guys was regarding the toilet seat ghost.
I just actually said something about the toilet ghost earlier. So
yeah, that was not my first paranormal experience. The first time that I had a paranormal experience, I was, I'd like to say, pretty atheist, and I was still skeptical of the experiences I had, like, just a complete denial of what I had experienced. It wasn't until the second time around that I was believing what was happening. The first time was over a decade ago, maybe at least a decade ago. I was in my early 20s. And I was living with an ex-partner and his family. So we shared his bedroom, and we were sleeping. I'm trying to, because there was like 3 occurrences in that home. Besides, amongst a bunch of other things that I was going through, like having strange dreams. But I just trying to, I can be all over the place with all of my experiences, but trying to focus on the paranormal experiences.
Right.
Because there's been increasingly more things going on. But in particular, this one, I don't have my timeline in order either, so I can't remember what happened first. One of the nights that we were asleep, I felt something touch my ear. Just like fiddle with my ear, and like you can hear when you're like in a light sleeper, scratch your head or move your hair with your fingers, you can hear those sounds. So I not only felt something touch my ear, but I heard it.
Right.
And I woke up and like I kind of just like thought, like, what was that? My ex at the time had a little a sugar glider. And he has escaped a few times during the night, and we felt him bouncing around the bed. But that night he was locked up in his cage. So I was like, okay, couldn't have been him. My partner, I knew him to be very a heavy sleeper. I'd wake up often and see that he hasn't moved, like he slept like a rock. So I didn't know if it was him or not, but I was like, it couldn't have been him. I brushed it off. Didn't take it seriously. And then I remember another night, something very similar happened. The best way I could describe it was it felt like something tapped the middle of my forehead, like something sharp. And then it just like slowly dragged up into my scalp, stopped like 1 inch into my scalp. And as soon as I felt it, I was awake. I just didn't open my eyes. I was just like,
So you were
feeling it,
awake for
and
this
then
one.
and then I opened. Well, it easily woke me up. I was asleep,
Okay.
but it easily woke me up. I felt the tap. I was awake as it was dragging up my forehead.
Ooh.
And then that one seriously concerned me. So I woke up and I turned on the lights and I told him, my partner at the time, like what happened? I was kind of scared too. And I was like, I still feel the burning on, like it feels like, like a scratch. I still feel it. I'm awake, but I looked in the mirror and there wasn't a mark or anything. So it was just the sensation and the sound of whatever it was that scratched up into my scalp. I remember the first time I shared the story, a friend of mine was just like trying to tell me like, no, you're probably dreaming, or, like trying to rationalize it like in all other ways. And I was like, no, I was 100% awake, still feeling the sensation, like that's not me making anything up. That's not my brain. Like, I don't know.
Right.
And then I think another night I had a small blanket and I tend to cover my face to keep the moisture trapped. And it wasn't like large enough to hang off the bed. And it wasn't large enough to share with my boyfriend at the time either. So it was just a small blanket, to cover me up. And I'm trying to sleep, and then I feel the blanket like drag off my face slowly. I just pull it back up and cover my face again, cover my mouth, my nose. And then it does it again. The second time it's like dragging off of my nose and my mouth. And then I'm just like, I'm just trying to sleep. So I pull back up, cover my face. And then again, it happens again a third time.
Shirley wants to
pulling off of my face. And then at that point, I'm just like, what the heck? That's enough to fully wake me up and question what the heck is moving my blanket. So I turn to my boyfriend, my ex, and then he's like sleeping like a rock, and I'm just like, what the heck? Like, when he moves, like I know when he moves, like kind of a light sleeper. My brain is like almost subconsciously, like on alert while I sleep. Like, for example, I can sleep through some really loud music, but if I hear my name, I'm gonna wake up. So I try to trust myself when I'm sleeping. Aside from that, I've had some somewhat lucid dreams, so I know that my subconscious, it does, try to remain awake in a sense as I'm sleeping. I think that kind of sums up my paranormal experiences. I don't know what to call that. Oh, no, actually, I thought that I saw his blanket like being lifted. And so, I didn't want to like trust what I was seeing, but I was like, okay, that looks really unusual. And I'm just not going to pay attention to that. Yeah, kind of not really scary to me, but it's just like freaky, when you experience things like this. Is like, for some people, they can have some really scary experiences. Thankfully, mine have not been terrifying.
Right. But still
but yeah,
weird stuff that's happened. I mean, and this wasn't in the same place as the toilet.
The camper. Yeah, the camper, definitely not. Same city, but different household, different location in the city.
Gotcha.
So I think that kind of sums up my paranormal experiences. But I mean, the word paranormal encompasses a whole lot more experiences, right? So I guess that's like my ghost related
basically anything that's not proven by science. I mean, it could be cryptids, it could be UFOs, it could be anything that's not normal.
Yeah, so I kind of like to use the term supernatural as opposed to paranormal, because I think people, maybe this is just my perception, but I think people tend to associate paranormal with ghosts only. And I could be wrong, but I do like to use the word supernatural as well, because it reminds us that this is all part of nature.
Right. I agree.
It's just,
I agree. But like you said, a lot of people, they hear the word paranormal, they immediately think ghost. And I think a lot of people are more comfortable with the word paranormal than they are supernatural, because when you start thinking supernatural, you think of magic and stuff like that. You know, that's how a lot of people perceive supernatural as being superheroes and, you know, things like that.
That's very true. You know, actually, I had not thought of that at all. So thank you for sharing that idea. I'll keep that in mind.
No, you're absolutely right, though. I do like the word supernatural. I just think that a lot of times when people hear that word, that's what they think. They think of Harry Potter, you know.
Yeah, maybe it's like the stigma. And maybe both words have, you know, a stigma to it. And then, you know, just misconception about what the word means.
Right.
Or both, about both of those words.
So, event that you would like to
So besides experiencing like a mimic or poltergeist or, you know, whatever, scratching my forehead, it took me a long time to realize certain things, such as the dreams that I've had. Let me think for a moment. Dreams are, for me, have been a completely whole eye opener. Kind of losing my train of thought here. So there's dreams, there's like direct paranormal experiences, which don't necessarily happen when you're sleeping, right? They can happen while you're sleeping or while you're awake. Oh, and two occurrences of what they call these days glitches. And the second glitch has so much significant meaning to me. I don't know if I should call it a glitch even. I think it's more like a message. And my dreams, I've come to realize, not all of them, but the ones that I can remember for so long, like the very what's the word I'm looking for? There's just some dreams that you can't forget, right? Like they're just like, so they hit you really deep, and so I have, you know, these memories of these dreams that I had when I was in my 20s. I didn't know what to make of them at the time, but now that I'm, you know, a decade has passed, like I've had more experiences that have come to me and made me realize these dreams that I've had are like messages. I can't pinpoint from where exactly. The things that I've received in my sleep and in my wake. I can just say either one or many sources. And they seem to be like little hints or clues, like with messages that you have to interpret one way or another. Yeah, that's just like general speaking without going into the details of all those things. It could take up a lot of time, and I know that you probably might want somebody else to come up and share their stories that are related more to paranormal experiences.
Well, no.
Well,
I mean, I don't have anybody else wanting to get in the box right now. So.
Okay. All right. This might be a lot, but I guess. So I don't know where to start. Just, I guess, some of the earliest dreams that I've had, and some of them were nightmares as well. But they seem to kind of be almost prophetic. Looking back, like trying to understand how they correlate to what's happening today. And so I've been talking to a lot of other people, joining some Facebook groups, and people will talk about their glitch experience, dreams, and You know what? Let me talk about these two glitches that I had.
Okay.
The first glitch, if we can call it that, happened this past summer, last year, 2024. And I was living with my boyfriend's family, my current partner, and everybody went to work, and I didn't have a job, so I would, do chores around the house and take care of her pets. And we had a dog as well of our own, and play with the animals and give them attention and love, and they play with their toys. And so I was playing with my dog. Everybody's at work, so I was home by myself. I was off home by myself with the animals. But one day, I was playing with my dog with a green tennis ball, just in the living room, and they didn't like that I would do this either. Like, they would say, take it outdoors. But nobody was home, and I was kind of being a little rebellious. And then, playing with my dog in the living room, kicking the ball around, and my boyfriend's mom, she has two older female dogs, and one of them, I don't know where the other one was, but one of them was in the living room with us, and she was watching us play. And as I was about to kick the green tennis ball, she interfered. She just got really excited watching us, and she jumped in front of me and my dog as I was kicking this green tennis ball. And the strangest thing happened in that very moment. I don't know if my foot ever made contact with the ball. All I know is that not me, not my dog, not her dog saw where the ball went. Because you would see a green tennis ball, pretty obvious, bounce somewhere or hear it, right? Bouncing around. Surely the dog would have chased it. And so I thought, okay, maybe it got stuck under a couch. So, my dog is pretty smart. I asked him to help me look for the ball. And so we're looking under the couches and just the edges of the living room, the corners, behind the TV entertainment area, because sometimes his toys would get stuck back there. So, I got on my hands and knees and crawled to look behind this TV set. And I was like, where could he have gone? And then I'm just thinking, this is really weird. So behind the living room is this den room, mostly just an open space, and then some storage along the walls. So I'm checking along the walls where there's baskets of dog toys or lizard equipment and just checking all the crevices. And I'm just okay, it's not back here. What's next? The kitchen, right? It's an open space, kind of you can go in a circle, these three rooms connect. There's not much to look through in the kitchen, under the table, where the fridge is, the cabinets, under the cabinets and dog bowls. And there's really not much to look in the kitchen. And so I'm just really weirded out. I'm just where could it have gone? And I go back to the living room, and I'm just looking around. I'm apologizing to my dogs also, because we were in the middle of play, and then, it was seemingly interrupted. I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm trying to find the ball. And then on the other side of the living room is the bedrooms and the restrooms. And I'm thinking, should I even bother checking in the bedrooms or the restroom? Because I was facing them. And if the ball went in that direction, one of us would have seen and heard it. And the rooms to the doors and the restrooms were open, I believe. But either way, it's if the ball went into the bedroom or the restroom, it would have had to hit a wall, to get in there, to bounce off a wall and to get in there, make a turn. And I was no, that doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. A ball, according to our physics, would bounce somewhere. It would be heard. A dog would have easily caught it faster than I would. Two dogs, let alone. And mind you, there was two cameras pointing me. I never asked her to check the cameras. Our communication hasn't been very well established. So Yeah, I know for a fact that's probably never going to happen. Besides the recording probably not being there anymore. Like I think it probably deletes after a certain number of days. But anyways, I was like, okay, I honestly don't know what to make of this. It's just gone. And then the next weird thing that happened.
So wait. So you never found the ball?
Well, this is the weird part that I'm still uncertain to this day. So the living room has these windows, and on the other side, the front door, I guess, is like a big old patio with chairs and some tables. One of the chairs, they would put the dog toys, like just somewhere to put them. So all the dog toys sitting on this chair in the corner. On top of the pile of dog toys was a green tennis ball. Yeah, so I'm looking at it. I'm just like, oh, no. I'm just like in denial. Like that's not. There's no way that's the ball I was just playing with. Like no. At that point, I'm just freaking out, and I'm just like.
So I mean, for it to get up there, it would have had to like seriously bounce, not just like hit it with your foot and.
Well, but the thing is, there's a whole door and a wall, and blocking a ball from possibly sitting outside.
Oh, this is outside. So, this isn't like in the next room. This is outside.
Yeah. So the window, like on the other side, is like a patio area, outdoors. No open windows, no open doors. But either way, the only thing I can suspect is that it may have been another green ball, like a different one that was already out there, but not to my recollection. So I don't know.
So so if that was a different ball, you never found the ball that you were looking for.
Either way, I still didn't find the one that we were playing with. Yeah.
Wow.
I just thought, it would be ridiculous for me to go look into the restroom. I would have seen it or heard it, or the dogs would have seen it or heard it. Like, I swear I was aiming for the ball with my shoe. Her dog jumped in front. Like, did she just swallow it whole?
Well,
she was looking at me too.
I mean,
she's got a funny face, and she was looking at me like, I thought we were gonna play. No, sorry.
Hang on.
So yeah,
Nicole, are you wanting to talk to April about this? I declined your invitation because I thought it was an old one. Okay, Nicole has a question for you. Hang on.
Okay.
She's going to be in just a second here. Yeah, she'd sent a request earlier by mistake, and I thought that was still the one that was showing, so I rejected it. Now I'm not sure where she went because I sent her a request.
She can request to join.
She's in there now in the request.
I don't.
Can you accept it?
Yeah.
This is why I have mods. There we go. See?
Yeah.
Let's get that mods.
Hi.
Mommy. Hi. Sorry. Yeah, with a toddler running around, my life is chaotic, so I do stupid things from time to time. So not related to the ball, but you did talk about, April, about your dreams.
Yeah.
And my curiosity was, do you ever try to open up yourself and talk to, if it's like loved ones or something that's passed away through your dreams? Do they communicate through your dreams to you, or are these just completely whatever unwanted encounters and they just happen?
So I've never actually tried that, but I have had 2 dreams regarding deceased family members. And the first one was my grandpa, who passed sometime a decade ago. And the first time that I dreamt of him ever in my life was after he passed away. Mm-hmm. It took me 3 tries to stay in this dream, because the first 2 times I kept remembering that he's not here anymore, and that would wake me up. It would make me sad. So the first time I started this dream, or the first night, right, I heard his bootsteps. When he would come in through, he always wore these cowboy boots, and he'd walk in through the door and like stomp his boots, and very that was part of his character. He would announce himself with his boots. Very comforting thing to hear. But as soon as I heard this, in my mind, I immediately remembered. I was like, no, it's not our reality anymore. So I woke up, and then the second night, I don't recall if I heard the boots again or if I started to have a visual dream, but I think I just remembered again, like no, he's not here anymore. So I woke up, and then the third time I was able to stay in the dream. In this dream, I dreamt that we were at my great grandma's house, which was his mom, and I was sitting at one of these bench tables, actually that he had built. There's 2 bench tables there. So I was sitting at one of his bench tables, and he was sitting next to me. And I don't recall if he asked, but I said, "I'm okay." I was to my grandpa, and that was it. I woke up from that dream, so it kind of felt to me like he was coming to check on me after his passing, and that was the last time I ever dreamt of him.
That's
But
awesome.
but it was very comforting, and try not to feel like sad about it. Before he passed away, he said to us, his family, he said, "Don't be afraid." And then my sister had 2 dreams of him in which he said also, "Don't be afraid."
Yeah, I definitely believe that that's him talking to you. So just to kind of, I guess, relate to you to a degree, my great grandfather and I were very close, and I was almost 11 when he passed away, and I never met his wife, my great grandmother. She died 3 years prior to me being born. And last week I talked to John a little bit about everything that happened in the house and everything like that, because my dad purchased the house after my great grandfather passed away. But my great grandma's her name was Helen. And I always told my great grandfather, Leo, that I really wanted to meet my great grandma because everybody said she was just like God's gift to earth, sweetest woman ever. She was an old school teacher, like everything, right? Beautiful handwriting. I've seen books with her handwriting in it. Beautiful. And so, it was probably 2010 or 11. And, long after, he passed away in 1998. So, this is a million years ago, it feels like, and he came to me in a dream, and it was like a gray fog. And he looks at me and he was like, "Nicole, I have somebody I want you to meet." And I was like, "Okay." And he reached into this fog and he pulled out my great grandmother. And I've only seen one picture of this woman in my entire life. And it was at like one of their wedding anniversaries, kind of thing. And she was like, "Honey, I'm so proud of you," whatever. And like told me all these things. And like she told me like relevant things because I was fixing to graduate college and do all these things. Like, and she could tell me like relevant present day things that were going on in my life. And she's like, "I'm just watching you, and I've always watched over you," and all this stuff. So first thing I do in the morning, I wake up, I call my dad, and I was like, "Hey," because it was his grandparents. And I was like, "Hey," I said, "Helen, did she look like ABC?" And I described her to a T. And he was like, "Yeah." And cause like I said, I've only seen the one picture. And it's kind of fuzzy. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a picture I have. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so that made me firmly believe that your loved ones can come to you and let you know, like, "Hey, I'm okay. Here it is." And that they're still present with you in your current day in life, and they know what's going on, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, kind of thing. But it was cool because I always said I wanted to meet her. And so to me, like, that's as close as I'm ever going to get in this world to meeting her,
Yeah. Well, that's very nice. I'm glad you got to have that.
Yeah. Sorry, John, I'm not all on the cryptid side of life with that story, but
That's all right. That's all right.
But I just thought it was cool with the dreams, you know.
Right.
Yeah, that's cool. Thank you for sharing.
Mhm.
I did want to talk about another dream regarding a deceased family member. So this one was about my great grandma on my dad's side, which I had only like visited her house and met her like maybe once or twice in my life. And she was in her old age, somewhere in her 90s. I can't recall how old she was when she passed. She had cancer, and then she died of COVID. But before I knew she passed, well, I had this dream. And it was a Friday morning that I woke up, and I was with my ex partner. We were getting ready for work, and I just told him, I was like, "Hey, I had this dream about my great grandma." And so in this dream, I dreamt that I was at her funeral, or like in the church, and I was sitting on like the second row of the benches, and I was surrounded by my Trevino side of the family, and I could see her casket, and it was a closed casket, and it was a really brief dream. It was just that, and I was like, oh, that was when I woke up. I was like, oh, that was about my great grandma. Like, you know, I didn't see her, but I just knew because it was on Trevino side. I don't know how I knew, but I just knew that it was my great grandma in the casket. So as we're getting ready for work, and I'm telling him this dream, he tells me, "Oh, I think I saw your aunt post on Facebook about your great grandma." And I was like, "What?" So I go check on her Facebook, and I see that she passed away on that week on Monday or Sunday, one of those days. And I was like, "What?" And immediately I kind of felt upset because I was like, nobody told me this, and I had to find out through a dream, you know. So I was like, I was upset because I feel like this dream, somebody told me, knowing that I have disconnect with this side of my family, and knew that I was upset. I would be upset not knowing that she passed away. And I don't know when anybody in my family was planning to tell me. Eventually, maybe I don't know how I would have found out otherwise, but it was through my dream that I found out. So
Wow.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if it was my great grandma herself trying to tell me that she passed away, or somebody else trying to tell me that she passed away. But I was like, wow, okay.
I mean, it
I
very
wasn't
well
very
could have
close to
been
her.
your great grandmother coming to you, like,
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm pretty
to
sure.
say goodbye.
Great grandma.
yeah. I mean, I would like to think it was her. You know, I'll never know for sure, except that the dream was about her.
Wow.
But yeah, so that was
Maybe
kind of a
you'll-
more
whatever your heart
upsetting.
feels.
Yeah, that's true. So it was kind of an upsetting dream because it's how I found out about her passing, you know. But I'm thankful that I received the news that way. I don't imagine that finding out any other way could have been better.
Right.
Oh, for sure.
So yeah,
So-
those are those. I guess they call them visitation dreams.
Right. Right. You were starting to talk about maybe another supernatural thing that you were after the dog ball thing.
Right. So the dog ball was one of two instances, occurrences, I guess, that I don't know if I should label a glitch, because the second one seems to hold a lot of significance and seems more like a message. So this one's a little bit a lot to explain, but I guess I could start off by saying I am an artist. Been drawing since I was little. My mom says ever since I could pick up a pencil. I'm a traditional and a digital artist. And this happened last year, after we moved out of my boyfriend's mom's house, and we got into our own apartment. And so I had wanted our apartment the table in our apartment to hold all of my art supplies. That way, anytime I wanted to do art, I could just go to the table. Everything's there. And I don't want to give in too much details about my relationship, but it's been ups and downs, right? And so this one day, I sat at the table while my boyfriend was at work, and I decided that I wanted to do some self-care art. And I was thinking, what would that look like? So I just started drawing, not on my tablet, but on paper with some markers and using all these different colors. This is a story that I've been sharing with a lot of people because I have the drawing, which kind of serves as evidence. I started with like a flower. I drew like a rabbit. I drew a doodle, like a sun in the corner. These are just doodles. They're not, compared to the art that I have on my Instagram. I wasn't trying too hard, and I wanted it to be that. I told myself, like, you know what? My art stresses me out sometimes. Self-care art should not stress me out. So I was just having fun with it, just doodles. And I drew a sun in the corner. He's got these cool sunglasses. I drew a cloud and like some rain coming down. And I drew some lightning under the cloud. I drew like a silly rabbit. I wrote some words. I wrote, there are no straight lines in nature. No, I wrote, there are no straight lines, just in regards to nature. I wrote, if you're ever wondering how to be happy, I wrote, go within, you're waiting for you. And then, because I was at the time studying or beginning to study sacred geometry, I slapped on top like a little hexagon shape, kind of hexagonal. It's not perfect. And I slapped on top the Merkaba, I think. It started with a dream in which a little boy said to me, dodecahedron. So that was the start of my studies into sacred geometry, and I'll go back on that dream later. That's why I said my timeline is all mixed up. So I slapped on a scribbly drawing of the Merkaba or the star tetrahedron or the dodecahedron, and I had one of my boyfriend's pens in my hand because I was done with the markers. So this was just a black pen, very fine tip, 0.2 fine tip, because I was tracing the red rays around the sun, and they're like squiggly lines. There's like 8 red rays and then 8 pointy rays coming out of the sun, just like tracing the color. And then with my pen in my right hand, or his pen in my right hand, and I was just like, I finished doing what I was doing. I was just looking at my drawing. My left hand was empty, and I'm just like wiggling in my seat, trying to be comfortable. And then I motioned my left hand towards myself. And so my hand, it doesn't touch the paper, but I hovered my hand over the paper towards my belly. And kind of like a windshield swiper, as I moved my hand, there appeared an ink splatter on the sun and pointing at the lightning. So I'm just like, oh, whoops. And I look at my left hand, and I'm looking for ink on my excuse the background noise. I'm outdoors. I'm looking at my pinky and my wrist. I'm looking for ink. And I'm just like, there's no ink on my hand. I looked down my forearm. And I was like, looking at my sweater. I'm just like, okay, did I somehow how did I do this? And I'm just like, I look at my right hand. I'm like, there's no ink on my hand, my fingers, looking down my wrist and my forearm. I was like, what the heck? With the pen in my hand, I'm like trying to see if ink comes off from the outside. I'm just like, rubbing the pen and looking at my fingers, and there's no ink. And so I'm looking at this ink splatter. I'm just like, how did that get there if my pen was nowhere near the paper? And my left hand is empty. That that doesn't make sense. And then I was just like trying to test out the pen. Like, does this pen bleed? You know, it doesn't. It's not that kind of pen. And so I'm just like staring at my paper, trying to make sense of what I just witnessed. And I'm just like, whoa. I think my brain connected it to the first glitch, and I was like, okay, is this another glitch? And so I kind of just like, my brain starts going, and I'm just like, what the heck? And I'm by myself, so I have the freedom to jump around and run around the apartment and just like, wow, what's going on? I was having my own freak out moment, trying to understand where this ink splatter came from. Because I didn't do it. I know for a fact that I did not even accidentally smear ink on my drawing. And I was kind of upset because I was like thinking like, whatever did this, it ruined my drawing.
Yeah.
That was the perfectionist in me, like saying like, what, like angry. I was kind of angry too. Like, what the heck, you know?
So was it even the same color as the pen that was in your hand?
It was black ink, but like when I use the pen in my hand, it's not even the same shade. And the ink splatter is like splotchy. It's like dots, but like very directional, like cutting across diagonally across the sun doodle. And for whatever reason, also pointing at the little lightning strike that I drew.
That's weird.
So
Yeah.
with my right hand away from the page, in either case, how could that ink have appeared when my pen was nowhere? It wasn't touching, you know, there's no ink anywhere on my body.
Yeah, that's odd. That's like you said, that's kind of like a glitch, you know. There's no explanation for it.
I can't find an explanation. Anybody else can say whatever they want, but I have the drawing, and I like to share the pictures and the close-up of the ink splatter, and I, you know, kind of ask people like, how do you think this happened? Because I don't have any explanation for it.
Right. So
this happened last summer, and I've had many months to think about this and what it means. And I'm a big old nerd, so I'm like a science nerd too, kind of. So I'm always looking for something to learn about. And being that I've been on my spiritual journey since my last breakup a couple years ago, I've been trying to understand my reality in different ways, and learning about my emotions. Learning about the chakras, which I used to think was just like nonsense. The conclusion that I've come to is this ink splatter is going across the sun, and it's pointing at the lightning. And a lot of what I've been studying, or a lot of activity that's been happening lately, are the solar flares. And in relation to that are lightning, you know, that happens around the globe. I've been learning about the Schumann resonances, how the solar flares affect the planet and us as individuals. I've been learning more about astrology and astronomy, and how, you know, our solar system is interconnected. I've interpreted this occurrence as a sign for my personal growth, and as a sign about what's going on in our world these days today. So besides the solar flares and the lightning, the aurora borealis, which I had a dream in my 20s about the aurora borealis. This is why I kind of say like my dreams have seemed kind of prophetic, and I don't even want to use that word, but it's just too much coincidence. I don't use that word anymore. Too many things that have happened that I cannot believe in coincidences anymore.
That coincidence is a bad word to me. I don't believe in coincidences either.
As an atheist, I used to. I think also this glitch is a sign to me to focus more on my solar plexus because I've been trying to heal from trauma that I've experienced over the years. And so learning how trauma affects the body and how to heal from it, looking into meditation, maybe even prayer. I don't know if there's a difference, but I feel like all the dreams that I've had have been like guiding me to understand myself on a deeper level and to understand the universe itself on a deeper level. So going back to the dream about the dodecahedron, this was after my last breakup. I was alone, living alone for like 4 months for the first time in my life by myself. And during that time, I had some strange dreams, a scary one too, a nightmare. This particular dream, I remember waking up or I was still asleep. I was like between stages, right before waking up. I heard a young boy's voice, really gentle, and he said, "Dodecahedron." And I woke up, and my first thought was, "Oh, that sounds like tetrahedron," but I don't know what that even is. Like, I know these are geometric shapes that I learned a little bit in high school, but I don't know what they look like. So, and I was thrown off by the word dodecahedron. I'd never heard that before. I was like, that's a shape with either 10 sides or 12 sides. I didn't Google it, so like I kind of just like put it off, and I was like, you know what? I'm not going to worry about this right now. Eventually, I'll dig into it. Eventually, it came around, and the question in my mind, or the confusion in my mind, was: did the little boy say decahedron or dodecahedron? So I had to rule out one or the other. And so the way that I came to the conclusion, it was like looking up the definitions. But either way, if I know for a fact that if he did say decahedron, I'm smart enough to know that deca is like decade, which is 10. Or in Spanish, diez is 10. So what threw me off was the do in the beginning, dodecahedron. So eventually I came to find out that means 12. When you look up decahedron, the information you might come to is that it's related, well, both are related to crystals. But dodecahedron, it says there's like 32,000 variations of crystal formations. And so I was like, whoa, okay, let's look at dodecahedron. And with the dodecahedron, if I remember correctly, there's like 23 different variations of crystal formations. And I was like, okay, this makes more sense. I strongly believe, for these two reasons, diez and decade, that he said dodecahedron. Come to find out later, the dodecahedron is one of 5 platonic solids, which in Plato's theory is like the way he described it was like these shapes are so perfect, like they must make up the basic building blocks of the universe. So, hi. Yeah. So, the dream of the dodecahedron, the dream of the aurora borealis, a dream that me and my sister had about an alien invasion or UFO invasion in my 20s, which I've come to learn recently that a lot of people have had a similar dream about UFO invasion. In one of the Facebook groups that I joined, a lot of people sharing similar story about that. Trying to recall what dreams are like, that make sense. Because I've had dreams that I don't know what the meaning is, so I'm kind of not including this. Or you know what? So now I want to talk about the things that I've received. 2 times that I was trying to fall asleep, but I wasn't actually asleep. I was still awake. Recently, this past December, I moved from California and came to visit my family in Texas. My mom is driving me back to Texas, and it's a long drive, California to Texas. So we spent one night at a hotel, and we got 2 separate beds. And so she shut the lights out. We were getting ready to go to sleep, and excuse me. And I'm getting comfortable. I'm having all these kinds of feelings. So I just left my partner behind in California, and so I'm just like feeling sad, but I'm trying to trying to make myself feel better. And my eyes are closed, and really briefly, a thought pops into my head. It's 2 words: energy shift. And I think it sounded like my own voice, but I don't know. That's not too important. The point is, I had a concept kind of that I immediately recognized was not an intentional thought of mine. So it was energy shift. I was like, oh, okay. Well, I'm trying to go to sleep. I don't know what to do with this. I'll think about it later. And since then, I have interpreted this in 2 different ways. First, I thought, well, it sounds like or whoever sent this to me is telling me to look at. They were either describing that I was going through an energy shift, or that I will, or to pay attention to like shifts, like energy changes in my body. I guess like pay more attention to my body and my energy. And then the second way that I interpreted this was on a collective global scale, we are going through an energy shift. And ever since then, I started noticing all over social media the words energy shift here and there, just in general, a shift. And so this is relating to our consciousness as a global collective. After being here at my mom's house for a few days, I had a vision. Everybody shut the lights out, and I was sleeping on the couch, and it was right before Christmas too. So the TV, I was, everything was off. Okay. And I closed my eyes for like 2 seconds or something, and I saw very clearly a grid, just like squares, like 5 columns and 5 rows or something. I was trying to count before it disappeared. And I was like, whoa. And I opened my eyes and I was like, where did that come from? And I look at the TV's off, Christmas tree. The lights are not on. Just it's really dark, but I'm looking around. I'm thinking like maybe this was like a negative imprint, And I look at the window and there's the silhouette of the curtains and the horizontal blinds. I'm just like, okay, that doesn't match. Like I clearly saw a grid, and I was thinking like, okay, once again, I'm trying to go to sleep. I'm not going to think about this right now. So the following day, I continue with like my information grabbing. I was on YouTube watching a video. And the first thing grid related is in this video. And I can't even recall like the title of the video, but it was about like the Anunnaki or something. And it depicts these 2 beings, and they're wearing like some kind of grid-like clothing or material. So I paused the video there and I was like, whoa. I'm barely learning about this, but these 2 dudes, they're wearing grids. And I was like, this is really weird. And since then, I've had some friends help me interpret this one in different ways. So I have multiple interpretations. For, everything and anything relating to a grid. And so I don't know. You guys might see or hear more about this.
I think it all goes back to like the whole Matrix thing,
That was one of my ideas. Yeah. The Matrix grid. I have a journal with all these notes that I've been connecting dots, different experiences and scientific information that connects to all of my personal experiences. So matrix red is one thing that I wrote in this journal. The clothing those guys were wearing is in my journal. Something about the global electric, the electric grid, something about our electric grid. I wrote something about the collective consciousness grid. I can't recall off the top of my head, but these are just like different ways that I've been trying to interpret a simple concept of a grid.
Right.
Let me think. I don't remember what else. If I had my journal with me, I would be flipping pages back and forth right now.
Well, we had talked about doing a private one-on-one interview. If you wanted to get some notes together, we could do that.
Yeah, I think I might be able to do that, just because like it's hard for me to like connect all this information.
Yeah, why don't we do that? Why don't we set up a time and we'll do a private one-on-one interview and we can go into all this stuff.
Okay, yeah, because I did say that I would agree to like a time or day with you. I kind of just popped in today.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I appreciate it. I appreciate you coming in.
I want to say I got a lot out of what I would discuss anyway on a one-on-one interview, but I feel like I could probably get more details out if I did a one-on-one. It's a lot of visual stuff too, especially because I did speak about my self-care doodles drawings.
Right.
That's a very, very visual one. So I don't know if possibly I can get some of this like on my camera so that to share with, the general public.
Right. We can set up a Google Meet or whatever, and you can just use the camera on your phone to show it.
Yeah, that would probably work. Because all I can do really, other than what we are discussing right now, is just like explain with my words and through text, typing it out. It's a lot
right
to explain to just random people every time I have to repeat myself. And so it would be good for me to be able to get this out and just like one and done.
Right. So why don't you follow the Facebook page, correct?
I think, you know what?
It's Myths, Monsters, and Mullets. If you go to Facebook and look that up, you'll find me.
Okay, I got you on YouTube.
Right. I saw that. But just so that you can message me, because we don't know what's going to happen with TikTok in the next week. So
right.
And as of right now,
that's kind of why I wanted to pop in, because I know that there might be like limited time, so I wanted to check everybody out and see what's going on before it goes away.
Right. So if you find me on Facebook, go ahead and add me there or follow me there, and then you can message me there. Also, on the YouTube channel, if you want to, or an email, you can email me at mythsandmullets@gmail.com.
Okay. All right. I will definitely check out the Facebook page then.
And all that information is on the YouTube channel to how to find me. So.
Oh, okay.
So,
all right. Good to know then.
All right. Well, April, I appreciate you coming in tonight.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me.
And I will talk to you later.
All right. Talk to you later. Have a good night.
Bye. All right. We've been doing this for 2 hours.
Since she talked about somebody talked about shadow people, do you want me to tell you my one story?
Yep.
Yeah. Just follow the sage in my house, so fingers crossed nothing happens in this house tonight. Because I have all the kids here tonight. So I told you last week how I grew up on an Indian burial ground.
Yep.
And all that fun stuff, right? So we have a gravel pit that was almost just shy of 40 acres, and there was some telephone lines that followed the creek line, and all that kind of stuff. And then once you pass the creek line, you could feel like a shift for sure in the energy and everything else. And it was just, again, my father and I that usually felt it. Everybody else that thought we were pretty crazy, kind of thing. But I had somebody separate come to the house that also had some capabilities, and I could describe them because, like, once you passed where my dad parked his semi truck, probably another 10 feet down where like the fence line was before you hit like the field before the creek, I could walk past it and feel these very tall, I mean, like with like the, what are those called, like 10-gallon hats or whatever type deal, and just full blown black shadow people just like staring at us as we'd walk down, like walk the dogs, like broad daylight, could feel it.
So you could feel it or see it?
I could see it in my head, but you could like feel the energy change.
Oh, wow.
It's weird. Like all of my encounters, like I see them in my head, kind of like if you're dreaming, but that's like how they come across to me. But then like I can feel the energy shift in the room or area or wherever I'm at, depending on what's happening. So my dad and I have to talk on the side because, again, my stepmom thinks we're crazy, even though she's been married to him for how many years. And he was like, no, like there's something weird going on right there. And so he, opened up himself up a little bit more, and he's like, yeah, no, I see the same things you do. So we had some people come in and they said, no, definitely. So we ended up actually having a pool right there. So we called it the Black Swamp. Sorry, I have Release in here too. But it's the Black Swamp. It's very, very deep and disgusting and whatever. So, and it was like, if you're going through the trails, not that anybody knows where my house is, but you would hang a right, and it's right there is where the swamp was. And that was where like all of the negative dark energy, where all the shadow people were, and everything that you felt bad. You could literally look to the left, and it was so light that you didn't feel nothing. Like it was fine. Like it felt welcoming on that side, but you looked to the right of the driveway and it was like doom and gloom pretty much.
So the driveway was kind of like the boundary line for this.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And then it was weird because once you pass the power lines of all things was when it shifted. And like I said, when you was growing up on an Indian burial ground, and we being my family being of Native American heritage, hawks are very important in our heritage. We used to have on every single pole that would hold the telephone lines and the power lines, there would be hawks facing that negative area at the swamp. Prior to me calling in this other person. And
so I'm going to stop you for just a minute.
It's a very protective signal.
I'm going to stop you for just a minute. I want to play devil's advocate. This swampy area, I'm assuming, had like frogs and stuff in it.
No, there was nothing in there.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
okay.
No.
Because that's what I was thinking.
Other than we almost buried a 4-wheeler one time. That's about it.
I was thinking in my mind, you got these birds looking into this swampy area. Maybe it was for frogs or small critters like that. But if this wasn't if you're not hearing frogs,
so
and
it's
stuff like
fully
that.
enclosed in the woods. So you'd have to go through the tree line first to get to the swamp.
Okay, so it wasn't like they could really even
that tree line.
Yeah, they couldn't even really look into that swamp because of the trees.
Correct.
Okay. I just wanted to get a picture in my head what we were looking at.
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. That's why I'm here to ask the questions.
Yeah. So, so we got this weird thing. So I called in somebody that I knew in the area that could kind of help me better assess the situation. And she definitely deemed that it was a portal. And we had several investigators come out to the house on various different dates and through different times as well, just to see. And some people now, I believe in different portals and lanes, but I get iffy on it. Some people are way more in depth than I am, to where I'm like, yeah, that exists. No, that doesn't, kind of thing. But just based on my own personal experiences. So I had some people out here tell me some crazy things that I personally would never believe, and which is why I couldn't tell you what they are. But, when we got down to it, there's a lot of things that a lot of us agreed on. And so I ended up having to call in a shaman / medium, and we did a whole ritual, and I walked through with holy water. And I'm not Catholic. We grew up in a very Catholic area, don't get me wrong, but none of us in my family are Catholic. But I had to go through with holy water and cleanse the property and close the portal. And after we closed the portal, literally, like, everything was great. My dad and I would both go back there, because like once dusk's like hit initially, my father and I, nope, you couldn't pay us $1 million to walk past that creek. It wasn't going to happen. Period. Not even on a 4-wheeler, nothing. But we got that portal to I closed that portal with that lady, and everything was fine. The hawks were gone. They weren't sitting on the poles anymore. My dad could go back, and because we living out in the sticks, we didn't pay for waste management. We just burned our garbage,
Yeah.
and then recycled the rest of everything. So he would take it out to the burn pit, out in the gravel pit, and everything was fine. And he never felt anything bad again. But before that, he had things chase him that he couldn't explain. That he's like, it felt like almost like a cheetah to a degree, but it wasn't human chasing him, and could keep up with him at 45 an hour on the 4-wheeler going through the gravel pit. I mean, we had coyotes. We also blew them up with .6 of dynamite. Minor details, but
we do not condone the blowing up of animals on my show.
But yeah, we don't either. It just happened to happen a few times, but
it was an accident. It was an accident, right?
It was an accident.
Yeah,
it was an accident. It just happened to be in the same place,
right?
But yeah, so yeah, no, there was a lot of things that happened at that property. I mean, when we left it, it was of good energy and everything like that, and all of the things were of what we like to say, light and love, kind of thing. But yeah, there was definitely, and I don't know what happened. The only thing the lady told me was that my nephew, who was 16 at the time, him and his friends would go back there and, just do normal teenage things like drink, and
study. They were
something, and it was to everybody in that gravel pit. It might have opened up some things that shouldn't have been opened.
Right.
But yeah, so we got that closed, and everything's fine now. I mean, we sold it outside of the family, which has not happened in the entire history of my family. So if I would have connections to whoever bought the house, I would love to know if anything happens inside that house or on that property, but I don't know. So.
Right. That's what a lot of people, they come on, they talk about the stuff that happened places where they used to live. And it's like, man, if we just, see if the next person had that same issue or felt the same things.
Yeah. I mean, like, we used to joke around that there's no way a Tallman would ever let a non-Tallman live on that property, which probably could happen, to be honest. But I told my dad, I was like, I know it's an invasion of privacy, but had it not been, because he had cameras on that house, like inside and outside, it's like, you should have left him up there just to see if like these people got scared shitless out of the house.
I'm going to be honest. Whenever you first said Tallman, I was thinking, like the Slender Man, but then I was like, oh no, that's her last name.
Yep, that's my last name. Yep, Tallman. So I don't know who in the Native Americans thought 5'7" or under was tall, but apparently it was tall once upon a time, because my dad's like 5'10", 5'9", somewhere around there. And apparently that's a tall man in my family. So that's why when Tommy and I got married, I tried to convince him he should just take my last name, because he would be the first actual tall man in our family, because he's 6'1".
Well, now
he wasn't going for it though.
Now, back in the 1800s, I think the average height for a man was like 5'6". So
So
Yeah.
I guess they were tall.
Right. Right. Well, Nicole, I've been doing this for 2 hours and 10 minutes, and I need to use
Yes.
the bathroom bad.
Go take the bathroom. I've been seeing you drink that nasty Mountain Dew. So
It's Mountain Dew Zero.
That's still gross.
Well, I
But
can't
I
have
appreciate
the
the fact that it's a
calories.
Pepsi product.
I can't have calories. I can't drink my calories. So
Okay. No, I appreciate it. You have a great night. I'm about to get this little psycho toddler of mine to bed and the other three so that even though they don't have school tomorrow,
I have to go back to work tomorrow
we-
for the first time since last Monday. So
well, I mean, I still have worked in the snow down here because it shuts down in the south.
yeah,
But these
I've just
kids,
been
we
sick.
just got them off Christmas break and then we get snow. And I'm like, no, I just got rid of you. Please go back to school.
Right. All right, Nicole. I will talk to you later.
All right. Have a great night.
Bye.
Tommy says bye.
Bye,
Bye.
Tommy.
He says bye, Tommy.
All right. Well, that has officially been the longest live I've done for Myths, Monsters, and Mullets. I'd like to thank. Let's see who all do we have in here tonight. I gotta go way back. We had Nicole, we had April, and I didn't take very good notes today. I'm out of practice. Diane. See, that's why I have mods. I'd like to thank Diane, April, and Nicole for coming in tonight. And I will see you again. I was talking to Becca. I may do more than one live this week. May do a couple. So until then, talk to you later. Gotta go.